Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS, and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news, so here's the scoop. There's a lot of buzz swirling around a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape the NFC East's landscape, and it involves none other than Christian Darrisaw, the talented Vikings tackle. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Wait, why would the Vikings want to trade Darrisaw? Well, it's not just about the player. It's about what the Vikings are trying to accomplish right now. Rumors suggest that Minnesota, sitting with only about $4 million in cap space and currently in a bit of a rebuild mode after a promising 6-3 start, might be willing to part ways with Darrisaw. The Vikings are facing some injury issues on their offensive line, especially with 39 sacks allowed so far this season, so they're looking to shake things up. The idea is that Minnesota could send Darrisaw, a young, all-pro caliber tackle, to Washington in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a fourth-round pick in 2027. That's significant, folks. It's a clear indication that the Vikings are positioning themselves as sellers ahead of the trade deadline on November 4th, looking to bolster other areas like their secondary, which has been hit hard by injuries. This move, if it happens, could be reminiscent of the 2019 trade that brought Laremy Tunsil to the Houston Texans. That trade proved to be a game-changer for Houston's offensive line, boosting pass protection efficiency by over 20%. And Darrisaw? Well, he's a different kind of beast. The 26-year-old All-Pro has been an absolute dominant force on the Vikings line with an elite protection grade of 84. In 2025, placing him 5th among offensive tackles. His career grade sits at an impressive 85. 6 overall, and he's been especially good this season, boasting an 88. 1 pass block grade in 2024. That's the kind of anchor the Commanders are desperately looking for to shore up their offensive line, which has been a weak spot all year, allowing a staggering 35 sacks so far. Darrisaw's performance isn't just numbers on paper. He's a guy who dominates in protection with minimal errors. Through 2025, he's played 412 snaps, with a run block grade of 79.5, ranking 9th among all tackles. What's more impressive is that he's only allowed 14 pressures and 3 sacks, pretty solid for a player tasked with protecting the quarterback's blind side. His numbers show that he's a player who can elevate an entire offensive line, much like Trent Williams did during his prime with the 49ers, who sports a career pass grade of 89. Darrisaw has the potential to do the same for Washington, giving that extra time in the pocket for our quarterbacks to make big throws. And let's be honest, with the way our offense has struggled at times, adding a player like Darrisaw could be a real difference maker, especially for our young quarterback or even for a veteran trying to operate behind a shaky line. Now, the Vikings aren't just looking to dump Darrisaw for the fun of it. They're in a tricky spot cap-wise, especially with their plans to rebuild the secondary after losing key players to injuries. They need picks to strengthen that part of the team, and focusing on a rebuild similar to what the Dolphins did in 2022 makes sense. The Vikings are in a position where they're looking for value, and a trade like this could give them the draft capital they need to reshape their roster. For Washington, this is more than just a trade rumor. It's a potential game changer. Gaining a top-tier tackle like Darrisaw would give our offense a massive boost, especially at a time when our offensive line has been porous, allowing too many sacks and pressures. With Darrisaw protecting our quarterback, he could help extend plays, give our running game more room to breathe. Robinson Jr., for example, has been effective with 4-5 yards per carry when he's got decent protection, and ultimately make our entire offense more dynamic and unpredictable. Plus, Darrisaw's arrival would send a strong message across the league. It's a statement that the Commanders are serious about rebuilding and competing at the highest level, stacking the deck with young, talented players who can be cornerstone pieces for years to come. The impact on our offense cannot be overstated. We've seen how a dominant tackle can elevate a team's overall performance. Think of the Chiefs with Thuney, who consistently opens up lanes and protects Patrick Mahomes, or the Bears with their offensive line improvements. Adding Darrisaw would be a similar upgrade, and it could be the spark our offense needs to take that next step. From the Vikings' perspective, this move is more cautious. They're not just looking to shed cap space, but want to build for the future, especially with the secondary needing reinforcements after some injuries. They're looking at a rebuild, and acquiring draft picks is part of that plan. They're also aware that Darrisaw's value is sky-high right now, given his elite performance and youth. If they're able to get a first-round pick in 2026 and a fourth in 2027, it's a smart move for them, even if it leaves their offensive line a bit short-handed temporarily. Now, looking at the bigger picture, this trade could have ripple effects across the NFC East and the NFC as a whole. For Washington, it's about creating a more formidable, balanced team that can contend not just for the division, but for a deep playoff run. The NFC is wide open, and teams like the Eagles, 49ers, and even the Cowboys are showing vulnerabilities. Adding a player like Darrisaw could give us that extra push needed to beat the best and make some noise in January. It's about building a foundation that's sustainable, and a dominant tackle like Darrisaw could be the cornerstone of that. And let's talk about the betting odds, because they're already shifting. The Super Bowl odds for the Commanders have jumped from plus 5,000 to plus 3,000, which shows the league's growing respect for what this team is building. If we land Darrisaw, those odds could go even lower, especially with the impact he could have on our offensive efficiency. In games against teams like the Giants, where we saw a plus 14% win rate, an upgraded offensive line could be the difference between a close loss and a big win. It's all about taking those calculated risks now to position ourselves for a deep playoff run next year. So in summary, this potential trade for Christian Darrisaw is a bold move, but one that could pay huge dividends for the Commanders. It's a move that signals our intent to compete, to rebuild smartly, and to give our team the tools to succeed in a league that's more competitive than ever. For the Vikings, it's a strategic decision. Capitalize on Darrisaw's high value while they can, and focus on rebuilding the secondary and the overall roster with draft capital. This is shaping up to be one of the most exciting trade deadlines in recent memory, and if this deal goes through, it could be a turning point for Washington. Imagine a line anchored by Darrisaw, giving our young QB all the time he needs to make those big throws, opening up the run game with Robinson Jr., and creating a more aggressive, confident offense that opponents will fear. That's what this is all about. It's about building a team that's not just good enough, but ready to challenge for a Super Bowl. Something we all want to see, something we've been waiting for. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move for Christian Darrisaw? Do you think it's the right call? Would you be excited to see him in our uniform? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to this team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. We're on the rise, and this could be the move that takes us to that next level. Let's keep the faith, stay loud, and keep pushing forward. We're in this together, and the best is yet to come.